Hey you guys, and welcome back to another year of the 12 Days of Christmas. Come on in. Hey you guys, and welcome to the 2018 edition of the 12 Days of Christmas. Before we get started with this video, I wanted to share something kind of special that we're doing to give back to our community here in Tampa. We are absolutely the biggest fans of a local nonprofit organization called A Kids Place of Tampa Bay. They work to keep siblings together who have been removed from their homes. So what we decided to do is to donate 10% of any of the proceeds generated from the 12 Days of Christmas videos here on YouTube back to A Kids Place. And the way you can help is simply by watching the videos. Every time you watch or share, it helps us to give more back to them. So I hope you're inspired by that. I'll have a link to their website in the description box if you'd like to go and find out more information about their organization or to give directly to them. Thank you for a fabulous year. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I wish you much love and peace. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. The style of today's video is going to be a little different. I basically set up a camera and recorded myself creating a custom swag for our kitchen, and I thought it might be nice to share with you guys. I think the possibilities are endless with a piece like this. You could use it as a tree topper. You could put it on your front door. There are several different things you can do. So the idea is just to show you what I did here, and hopefully you walk away with a new idea for your own home. These lovely red bells were on sale at the Home Depot and they caught my eye, so I picked them up and brought them home to see what I could do with them. Hey there YouTube friends, welcome back to the channel. A couple of disclaimers before we get started today. One, we are living our best lives in the house while I am trying to get everything styled for our home and a few clients. So please excuse my appearance, and you may hear the kids in the background as well. They are at home. Disclaimer number two, today I'm doing a DIY. I've never tried anything like this before, but I figured I'd share for a piece that I want to go over the stove. That being said, I always pull my pieces down from over the stove before we cook. So if you try to replicate something like this or find some inspiration for something like this, just make sure you pull it down before you cook, okay? So I think the supplies that I'm going to need are some picks that I picked up from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. So I'm incorporating red, and so I want to put a pop of red over there. I have some Chanel pipe cleaners here. Normally I like to use the kind that look kind of like Christmas trees, but I don't have any of those. Since I'm using red, I should be able to make it work. I've got some wire, floral wire, I've got wire cutters, I've got scissors, and then I have these bells that I showed you guys that I got from the Home Depot. I see bells over there, so we're gonna try to make this work. So I've got my glue gun heating up too, just in case. And of course, I've got my wine. So if you're watching in the morning, maybe grab a coffee. If you're watching in the evening, maybe have some wine with me. I'm drinking a Sauvignon Blanc, Kim Crawford, I believe. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of lay out. I started playing with this a little bit before I decided to make a video because I figured you guys may ask if you see it in the kitchen. So I'm gonna lay out what I'm thinking I want this to look like over the stove. I want it to be kind of like I guess like a horizontal swag with some pops of red, and then I will probably do a bow on it, and then I'm probably going to try to glue the bells. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue these pieces together. I'm going to cut some of this off, and I said glue them together, but I mean tie them together. I just don't need for the stem to be quite this long, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to tie these together. If I like the way things are going, I'll start gluing, but until I have it kind of worked out, I'm just going to kind of make placeholders for myself. if that makes sense. Just so I can take it apart easily if I don't like the way that it's going. Okay, so this is the first part. I'm going to get these as tight as possible so the stems don't slip around too much. So far that's looking actually really pretty. And then next, I found these pretty berries that have like little glitter frost on them. So I'm gonna layer those on top. And if I really like this, I'm gonna go ahead and glue it so that it's stable and ready to go. So I'm pulling off my stickers. And I'm going to cut this down a little bit as well. If you watched last year, you watched me make the bow. I did a tutorial on how to make a bow, which I'll link in this video below for you. But if you remember, I asked Santa to bring me a nice pair of scissors. I didn't get them. So I'm still waiting on my scissors. Santa, please. Santa baby. Okay. Just gonna hold this in place for a second. Put the other one on here like this. And I think that should be wide enough. I'm actually gonna go over to the stove and hold it up before I glue this, just to see if it's wide enough. And then I will glue it into place. I may need some new wire cutters too, Santa. It's just a really thick wire. Come on, there we go. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. Okay, I'm gonna run over to the stove and see how it looks. Okay, it actually looked really good. So I am going to pause the video and go ahead and hot glue it together, and then I'll show you guys the next part. Next, I cut some ribbon to tie around the swag just to hold everything in place for the bow that I was going to add. If you'd like to see a step-by-step tutorial that I did last year on how to make a bow, it's linked below for you. I make my bows the same way every single time I make them, so I'm not going to go over that here, but if you want to see that video, it is available. Once I got the bow tied into place, I didn't fluff it. I left it flat because I had to install the bells next. But basically, I cut the bells apart because they came in one strand. So I cut them apart so I could have 3 individual pieces. And then I used my floral wire to start tying the bows onto the swag. And while you're watching me do this, I will add that I went back after I finished everything and added on more of the greenery on one more pick on each side because it just wasn't full enough. But I didn't record that, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned that here. You'll see the difference, I think, in the end of the video. And I sped this part up, you guys. I just thought it would be incredibly boring to watch, but I think you get the idea. Hopefully you don't mind that too much. Okay, so hopefully it's big enough. So now I'm just gonna kind of spread everything out, play with the bow. If it's not big enough, I may go back and add another bow on top, but I think this should do it. It's just a real simple way to customize a piece in your home and make it your own. So I'm going to work on that part. Wish me luck. And like I mentioned earlier, after I fluffed everything out and got it up over the stove, I decided that it just wasn't full enough. I don't always get it right on the first try, but at least here you can see the order that I did things in and how it all turned out. And here's what it looks like all done. Just remember, guys, safety first. You certainly don't want to cook with a piece like this over your stove. Everything that you see hung over our stove is hung with the command hook. I just leave it there, and it just makes it real easy for me to remove things when it's time to turn on the stove. I hope you had some fun with me today. It's always my intention to get your creative juices flowing, and I appreciate you spending time with me. Until next time, love and peace.